Hi folks, and welcome back to Fisherman Den. So, does anyone know what the definition of madness is? Well, apparently it's doing the same thing multiple times and expecting a different result each time. Well, of course, you're probably going to get exactly the same result, and so therefore you must be mad to do it. So, with that in mind, how many times have you gone down to your local favourite lake or river or whatever and fished the same swim and used exactly the same methods and caught pretty much the same amount of fish? Well, that's what we're going to be looking at today. I'm back on the tidal river today, and it's about 14 feet deep at the moment, and it's flowing quite quickly. And normally I would just feed ground bait through a method feeder, put a few feederfuls in first of all, and then catch a few fish. And you do catch a few fish, generally 3, 4, 5 fish a day, but they're going to be big fish. Anyone that watches the channel regularly will know I've had fish 18 pounds, 20 pounds out of this river. Average being anything between sort of, 6 and 13, something like that. So they're all good fish. You're not generally going to catch too many, but it's not really ever fished seriously for carp. So me and Morris are here today. He's doing his usual thing, but I'm going to do something completely different. Now, last week I did try something different in that, if I just get this off, I used one of these, a cage feeder. Now normally, as I say, I use a method feeder, but I thought the cage feeder with the longer tail might well do it. It basically did pretty much the same as what the method feeder does, but I probably think I missed 1 or 2 bites because you haven't got that shock effect quite in the same way as you do with a very short hook length on a method feeder. It's not definitive, it's just my feeling. So this time I'm actually going to go back to a method feeder, but what I'm going to do differently is this. If I can reach down and grab them. I'm going to go through a process called balling it in. Now, for any of you who don't know what balling it in means, it's not exactly difficult. It's getting a load of ground bait. This is a fairly stiff consistency because, as I say, the river's about 14 feet deep. It's coming up towards the fastest part of the tide at the moment, so it's actually flowing from left to right pretty quickly. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these balls of ground bait in right at the start at about sort of 9 meters. Now I have actually plumbed the depth. Let's just put these down a second. I have actually plumbed the depth, and it is, as I say, probably 14 feet deep. But what I've done, if I can just show you on the change of the camera here. So what I've done then is I've set up a pole, and as you see, it's set to 14 feet deep, and that's about dead depth at the moment. And what I've also done, I've plumbed the depth as I go out, and at about 8 meters, which is just there, there's a huge drop off. It's like a cliff. It goes down by about 5 or 6 feet. So if I go to 11 meters, I just put this in. If I go to 11 meters, that's when the drop off finishes and it starts to flatten out. I'm hoping you can see the float here. There we go. I'll hold it back a little bit so you can maybe see it. But you can see it's moving through. It's a steady pace. It's nothing too desperate. I can certainly cope with that. But what I've determined is that just above the ridge over there, there's a telegraph pole. And then down at this point down here, there's another telegraph pole. And it takes, because it takes a second a foot for the ground bait to sink, because I've tested that previously, it takes from the first telegraph pole to the second telegraph pole to sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fish at 9 meters to that telegraph pole with the feeder. But as I say, first of all, I'm going to ball it in to get all the ground bait in one place. Now, it's not going to be an instant method, obviously, but let's actually put this away for a second. I'll grab all my stuff, get it together, and then I'll show you how I go about balling it in. Okay, so here's the plan then. I've put my pole out at 9 meters. I'll put the pole cup on so you can see it. I've aimed it at those trees over there because obviously if I aim it right at the telegraph pole, I'm going to be throwing bait out there. I don't want to catch the end of the pole. Now, the pole gives me the distance. The telegraph pole gives me the area to put it into, and now it's just a question of putting it in. Oh, I should mention, by the way, these balls are slightly elongated and slightly flattened. The reason being the current, of course. What I don't want is something to be rolling along the bottom. Okay, well, that's 20 of them done. Now it's just a question of get the rest of my tackle ready while that's doing its job, and we'll get started. Now there is one other thing I'm going to do. Right down in front of me here, when it's low tide, that actually gets pretty much exposed. It's just sloppy mud. But down by the reeds there, just towards the outside of the reeds, I've probably got 3 feet of water. And similarly, down to my right, I've got no reeds on this one, but I've probably got a similar sort of thing. So what I'm going to do, somewhere by that sticky up stick just there, I'm going to get some bait down on it. I'm going to get some bait down on there, but this time I'm not going to ball it with ground bait. I'm going to put in quite a reasonable amount of sweet corn and loose feed pellets, just like these. Last week when I tried it, I did actually catch a carp down at that when the tide was pretty high. So I'm going to give that a go, because as I say, it's all about doing something different, and today is all about large amounts of feed. So let's get that done. Okay, well, that's the last part of it all done. Now I can start getting a feeder set up and ready to fish. Not expecting immediate results. Remember, this is a natural river, never gets fished normally, so the fish aren't absolutely sure what bait is, so just a question of waiting until they come on, or hopefully they'll come on. Okay, I've got a feeder on, and I've got a hook length on. This is a size 10, I think it's a Preston PR38. But as you'll notice, there's 5 pieces of sweet corn on it. And the reason for that is quite simple. There's lots of bait out there, so I need my bait to stand out somehow. And that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use big baits. Anyway, let's crack on with this. Let's get some bait on the feeder. And cast it out. Current's still pretty strong actually, so let's put it out there. Okay, a little bit of slack, and just trim the tip. Away we go. Can't imagine bites are going to be immediate, but you never know in this game. It's my first bite. Oof, right in the edge, look. And he's off. You don't usually do that. It's taken about an hour to get to this point from putting the bait in. It's right hugging the edge, right, it's just down here now. And under my feet, look. What on earth is he doing? I don't know, that's a nice carp. But look at him. What on earth do you do with something like this that wants to fight actually a foot from the bank? Oh, it's still taking line even now. Wow. As I said at the start, there are good sized fish in here. Very few small ones, but some really good ones. Oh, there we go. I've got a size 10 hook on, 4-inch hook link, but I'm using 6 pounds Breaking Strain Maxima line. The real line is 8 pounds Maxima. This stuff's bulletproof. never have a problem with it, and it's been going for donkey's years. I know a lot of people prefer modern high-tech lines, but this one for me is really good. Well, that's not bad. Oh, that's a good fish. Whew. Right, let's there we go. Right, really thick set fish. Let's just weigh him, see how he go. 10 pounds 13 ounces, so that'll be 9 pounds 10 ounces by the time I take the 1 pound 3 off for the landing net weight. But yep, not bad at all. Okay, tide's still coming in. I'm not sure how much further it can come before we get drowned, but hey, I'm going to just give it a go just down where I said before, on the edge of the... Oh, that wasn't so good. Try that again. Right over the top of the cane there. Still got some bait on for the moment, so... Right, try that again. That'll do. Right. Just see if there's anything down there. You never know. Oh, what the hell is this? This is down on the left-hand side swim. Not a carp. I assume it's a mullet. Yeah, it's a mullet. These things really go. Not the intended species, but it's been a little bit quiet so far, so very welcome. They certainly don't want to give up. There we go. They must like pellets as well, eh? Beautiful fish though. Let's chuck him back. Well, I'm going to bite down here in the edge, except it's come off. I did see what it was. It was a mullet. So unfortunately that's what's pecking at the bait down there for the moment, but that's not to say there won't be any carp down there later, so we'll give it a little while and we'll go back down later. Wow. Been a while since I had a bite, but he's taken a bit of a line. Current's going quite strongly in the other direction now. Very strange bite. It wasn't a proper pull round, it was a hardly anything bite. Well, this one was on a prawn. As I said at the start, big baits are probably what's required today. With all that ground bait gone in. Obviously the feeder being next to the bait helps, but not the biggest fish in the world, but certainly not for here anyway. You're very welcome. They really are the fittest fish. It's one of the smaller versions for this place. There we go. Yeah, it's probably sort of very thick fish, but probably only about 6 pounds or so. Definitely one of the smaller ones for this place. It'll do though. Look how thick it is. Okay, we'll try that again. I'm just using a lasso rig for the prawn, and I've had one on it, so let's see what happens this time. First chuck as well. I'd been getting line bites for a while, but nothing seems to transpire. I've tried sweet corn, I've tried bread. Let's hope that this is the bait for the day. Well, literally, I just finished recording that last segment, told the camera to stop recording, and it literally pulled it around. Not sure what it is, if it's a carp or not. Could be a mullet, but no, I think it's a carp. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a carp now. Once it's just stopped right underneath me down there, look. These things are something else. Oh, there we go. Right underneath me from out there. I wonder if he's ready yet. That's not bad. Bigger fish. Not much, but a bit. Lovely. I'm pretty sure this one... Well, I was going to say I was sure it wasn't a carp, but I'm not now. It feels like a mullet. But if it is, it's a big one. Yeah, that's a decent sized mullet, isn't it? That's the thing with these tidal rivers. Little torpedoes. There we go. Well, nice little fish that. Ouch. Right, just in the lip. And only just. Well, that's a good fish. Right. That's 3 fish in 3 casts. Can't be bad. Well, it seems there's certainly plenty of fish out there. I'm getting quite a few bumps, as you can maybe see on the tip. It could just be that there's a load of mullet out there, or it could be carp. And that's the beauty of this place. You never know. This one's decided he's going downstream. Trouble is he's down by those reeds down there. As long as he doesn't try and get into them, I've got a chance. Oh, he's swimming towards me, which is handy. Okay, so he's somewhere down under my feet. This time then. Yeah. Oof. Wow. That's a bigger fish. They're not too long, these fish, but they're so wide. Look at the back on that thing. Well, that's not bad, is it? Well, I'd say this was a, I'd set an hour one, because I thought this was a mullet, but no, it's too lunky. It's a, you can feel by the way it's going down, it's a carp. It's one of these ones that's come down in front of me again, right under the rod tip. Right, surely this time. See if we can sneak his head in before he knows we're here. Head first, fish, head first. Yes. Oof. That's a decent fish. Oh. I'll have to weigh that one. Right, so let's have a look at his dorsal fin. Ah, good, we've released it. So, well, he's definitely worth the weigh. £10.13, so that makes him £9.10. You wouldn't chuckle, would you? But a nice fish though. So that last fish then, that took me up to 5 carp, and that's about as many as I'd normally catch in here on a day, doing the normal sort of baiting. And I've got about an hour to go, so that means that if I can catch a few more in this last hour, maybe I've proven the point. If nothing else, at least I haven't destroyed my swim by balling it in at the start, so give it this last hour and see what happens. I'm getting movement again, but whether this is right, yes, there we go. It's literally only been in for 20 seconds or so. I just stopped the recording thinking it would, and when I said those words it did exactly that. It stopped the recording. I'm trying not to say it again because it might well turn itself off again. So anyway, these are the perils and the tribulations that you have when you're trying to do a video. Oh, it's woken up, this guy. Is he ready? Certainly a lot easier to get in than the last one because it was hooked around his dorsal fin. This guy isn't too bad at all. It's, there we go, he's in. Right. Well, that makes 6. Again, quite a nice little fish. Standing on his head, which is not helping me much to get the hook out of him. And the hook is out, and let's do that. Okay, so I think we'll weigh this one as well. Just move that out, don't we? Yeah. £9.2, so fraction under £8. Not bad though, eh? They're not pull round bites, are they? Huh. Here we go again, right under my rod tip. And he'll wake up again. Told you. Oh dear. Well, normally they go shooting off across the river, but today, oh, there you go, he's shooting across the river now. No, he's coming back now, but Normally they actually go straight off and up the way there. This time they're coming straight down under my feet half the time. There we go. Lovely fish. In the corner. Oh, I don't know, probably 6 pounds or so, maybe 7 I suppose. So just to see if it was the change of bait that's made all the difference, I've gone back to 5 pieces of corn. Just to try it, see what happens. I'm leaving the bait hanging out the bottom because these fish just don't know, like a commercial does, to dig into it properly, so it may or may not be wrong, but it seems to work fine, so I'm going to carry on with that. Well, I'm certainly still getting lots of bites, and I think that's, yeah, well, doesn't seem to matter what bait I put on now. Corn's easier, so I think we'll continue to use that for a bit. Lost count a bit now. I think that's 8 if I get this one in, or is it 9? Can't remember. Either way, what I am proving is that although it took a long time for the balling approach to work, when they came on, they certainly did come on. I don't think it's quite as big, this one. Maybe that's the thing, maybe the sweet corn picks out the smaller ones. I'll try again in a minute and see what happens. There we go. Yeah, he's a bit smaller. Crazy little bites for a tidal river and for method feeder fishing. You should be getting pull round bites like you normally do, but these ones today have been crazy bites. And this fish doesn't know he's hooked. He's just hugging the bottom, doing his thing, and I can't do anything with him. Yeah, he's woken up. Come on, fish. I'm going to have to pack up after you, unfortunately. As I said just at the start of this cast, Morris is packing up at the moment, so I'm going to need to make this the last fish. But that's not bad. It's certainly better than I have been doing. Just feeding the normal way. Oh, here we go again. Oh, come on, fish. Here we go again. Just when you think you're going to win. There we go. Oof. That's a good fish. Oh. Yeah. Woo. Look at the tail on that thing. Let's get the hook out. Definitely going to weigh this one. £14.4, so that's £13, 1 ounce of sheer muscle. And sometimes I wonder if my scales are right, because this thing is absolutely enormous. Look at that. What a great way to finish a day. Well, that's it then, folks. Can't remember exactly how many I caught, 9, 10, something like that, plus a couple of mullet. And that's probably twice as many as I'd normally catch when I just feed through the swim feeder. Now today, as you've probably gathered, it took a long time for the fish to arrive. I probably only had about an hour and a half or so's worth of really good fishing right at that end point from, say, I don't know what, 1:30 till 3 o'clock. But when they came on, didn't they come on? I was really impressed with that. So, like I said at the start, sometimes it's worth doing something different, and today has certainly proven that for me. I'm not totally convinced yet about whether I'm going to continue to do this on this river because of having to wait, but frankly I've got to give it a few more goes and make my mind up then. My suggestion therefore is that you try doing something similar on your venues, not necessarily balling it in, but just something different to what you normally do. Anyway, I've had a great day. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. If you want to subscribe, you can do that too. And until the next time, bye for now.